Have you ever marked a piece of work and thought, they know this, so why can't they explain it? We often assume students know how to explain, justify, or evaluate, but academic language isn't anyone's home language. It has to be taught. Very often, students understand the content, but the language of school is invisible to them. And today, I'm going to show you what to do. Simple things you can use straight away to make academic language visible in your classroom without slowing your lesson down. My name's Jane Maria Harding de Rosa from Enriching English Language Teaching. Here's what most of us already do, and this is not a criticism. We explain the task. We might show a model answer. We might even talk through what a good response looks like. But very often, we don't slow down to show how the language actually works. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We assess academic language far more often than we teach it. We mark students on how well they explain, justify, compare, or evaluate, without always teaching them what that language sounds like. So students end up knowing the content, but lacking the linguistic tools to show it. I want to show you 3 small shifts. This isn't about adding new activities, it's about making the language visible. Move number 1, make the language visible. Start with the task itself. Instead of just saying, answer the question, pause and look at the verb. Explain, justify, compare, evaluate. These words are obvious to us, but they're not obvious to learners. This question says explain. That means I need to show my thinking and give a reason. If you're using a model answer, read it aloud. Listen to how this explanation starts. Notice what happens after because. We're not analysing grammar. You're drawing attention to how meaning is built. Move number 2, work with the language. Once students can see the language, they need to try it out safely. Before students write, they need to hear the language and use it orally. Some practical examples would be sentence starters, partial models, oral rehearsals. And you might ask, what usually comes after because? How could we start this explanation? This is the part many teachers skip, and it's where language learning actually happens. And then, this is important, let the students use the language. Talk before write, scaffolded responses, gradually remove the support. It's not dumbing down. This is teaching the tool. We wouldn't expect students to use a calculator in a maths lesson without showing them how it works. Language is no different. Let me show you what I mean with a really common task. This could be science, geography, history. It works in many subjects. The task says, explain why volcanoes erupt. Now, most students know the facts. They know there's pressure, heat, magma. But knowing the facts isn't the same as explaining. So the first thing I do is look at the verb. The task says, explain why. So I'm not just giving information, I need to show cause and effect. Listen to this sentence. Volcanoes erupt because pressure builds up beneath the Earth's surface. That word because is doing a lot of work. It's linking the idea or the fact to the reason. This is the bit students often miss. Before anyone writes, I want them to work with that structure. What usually comes after because? Is it another fact or a reason? Let's say it together. Volcanoes erupt because... Turn to a partner and finish that sentence out loud. Students need to hear the language and try it before they write. Now they write, but they're not starting from nothing. They're starting from a structure they've already used successfully. This isn't giving them the answer, it's giving them the tool to show their understanding. Same content, same task, but now the language is visible. And the same approach works if the task says, explain why the Romans built roads, or explain why the temperature changes. The language work stays the same, only the content changes. This works in science, it works in English, and it works anywhere we ask students to explain their thinking. At this point, some of you are probably thinking, yeah, but I need a way to keep this in my head when I'm planning. That's why I've made a one-page sheet that links common task verbs to the language students actually need. This isn't a checklist, and it's not something you follow word for word. It's a thinking tool. You can adapt it, tweak it, rewrite the examples, and make it work for your subject and your students. It'll help you spot the language hidden in a task, make it visible for students, and decide what needs modelling, practicing, or supporting. So if you've just watched me work with Explain Why, this shows you how the idea transfers to other task types. You don't add more activities. You make what you already do clearer. This is also why academic language can't be picked up incidentally. It has to be noticed, worked with, and used. If you'd like the one-page sheet, you can download it via the link below. It's free and it goes out through my newsletter. I'd really encourage you to treat it as something to manipulate, not something to follow exactly. Cross things out, add your own examples, rewrite it so it fits your classroom and your teaching situation. So next time you set a task, try asking yourself one simple question. Have I taught the language this task requires, or have I just set the task? If this resonates, tell me about it in the comment. What task verb do you use a lot? Or which subject do you teach? And if you want to go deeper into this, this is something I explore much more fully in my language learning toolkit. Thanks for watching and for doing the work that makes learning accessible. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.